Hello everyone and welcome. Today we're going to be using this old December 22 My Forever Person stamp and die set. We've got some essential cardstock from Spellbinders. I've got the Tiled Hearts embossing folder from last year and then this year's Heart Swag embossing folder. And I'm going to be using those. And for this video today, I'm just going to encourage you to shop your stash and pull your old stuff out because that's what I did today. I actually was preparing for my craft room tour video and was looking at some of my product, and I saw some of the older things and I thought I'm going to use some of that. I've begun to see Valentine card videos on YouTube, and so I thought I want to make a Valentine video. So I just brought this older set in. It is still available. The stamp is. The die set's no longer available, but the stamp's currently $5 on Spellbinder's website, so you could pick it up really inexpensively if you were interested in it. I will link everything in the description box below. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to, stamping both of these hearts on this black onyx cardstock. And I tried some inexpensive ink there that I'm stamping it with, and then I'm using some very old Stampin' Up gold embossing powder on it, and it doesn't turn out. And I went ahead and left this in. I'll stamp and heat emboss the back side of this as well, but I just don't get a good result with this. I went ahead and left it in to show you. Not everything works out, when you're crafting, and this certainly did not. So I'm just going to stamp each panel and put the embossing powder on it and lay them aside, and then we'll just heat all of the panels at the same time. So I'm putting this up and getting it put away. I'm going to bring in, I use a little stamp chamois there to clean it. I got that from Cat Scrappiness. And I'm just going to put these away, and we're going to do our next panel. Now this is Poppy, is the collar of this red panel from Spellbinders. And I'm going to lay the big heart down on this in the center, and I'm going to do the same thing, basically stamp and emboss. And I'm putting it in the center because I'm going to use that panel to line this particular card. So I'll just take the heart out of the center, and then I'll have the rest for the background panel. And I did use my powder to kind of run across my panels to try and not have a bunch of overfoiling. Or over embossing, I guess I should say. And we're just going to use white on this, and it's really going to pop. This one will turn out very nice. And we'll lay it aside. And then I'm going to bring in my pink panel, and we're going to use the Love stamps for this. Now this is Dahlia, this color here is. And I'm just going to lay the Love out on here, leaving enough room so that I can die cut each one of these letters out nicely. So I'll just kind of arrange them so I've got space for the dies. And then we'll get these stamped down. I had that O on there upside down, and when I went to look at it, I thought, oh, it's upside down. So I'm just using my Versamark ink for these, and we'll get them. I'm going to do white embossing powder with this one as well. And we'll stamp it again. I always give it two stampings of ink and then two batches of powder, embossing powder on there. I just try and do it twice just to get it really good. And there we go. Now we've got all of our panels stamped, and we've got the embossing powder on there. Now we just need to bring in the heat tool and heat these babies up. I'm trying to get any embossing powder off my desk before I start heating. So I'm just going to heat them up. And this is the one, excuse me, this is the one that had the gold on there, and it just, I mean, you really can't even see it on the camera. I could see it in person, but it just wasn't very good. I don't know if it'll up at all. Not really. So we'll move on to the next one. And this just really pops. I really liked the red, the white on the red. I think it looks really pretty. And the pink one as well. So I need to get some, I guess, new gold embossing powder so that I will have some because I don't have any. So for this one, I'm just going to flip it over and stamp on the other side. I'm not going to waste that panel of black onyx. I'm challenging myself to put everything back and everything away immediately. So that's why I was putting those right back there on that stamp so that when I get done here, I can put it right back on my cart where it goes. Since I did my cleaning and got everything where I wanted it, I'm challenging myself to immediately put everything up so that it's tidy. I generally keep a pretty tidy area anyway, but with the advent calendar and the different things, the daily videos, sometimes it gets I'll have some things out that need to be put away. And I'm just, for the new year, I'm just going to challenge myself to make sure that I do that. So I've stamped this again, and I'm going to use the white on here, and I think it's going to look really great. And there we go. So these are going to get die cut out as well, so it didn't matter that I laid one upside down and one not upside down. So we'll get this embossing powder put away and get this one heated up, and then we'll be ready to start assembling our 3 cards. And this is where the stamp set gets its name. This heart has my forever person in the floral design there. And it's very intricate. It's you could definitely color it, stamp it on white and add some color to it or whatever. I think I did that the last time I used it, but I just wanted to do the embossing and just kind of make them kind of quick and simple. I'm going to use these embossing folders and emboss 3 panels, and that'll be a layering panel. I do 2 of the older one and then 1 of the newer swag panels. And so now we're going to get these dies out. I've got my washi tape there. That's some cute little gold polka dot washi tape. Kendra sent that to me, and I think it's super cute. So I'm just going to use the washi tape, line them up, get them taped down real nicely so they don't move. I want a good clean edge all the way around, an even edge, I should say, all the way around my letters. So I'm taking my time to get those lined up. So I've been cleaning today our guest room. We're having guests come in town from out of state, family. And so I've been cleaning in there this morning, just tidying up, getting everything nice and ready for my guest. And I was working up a sweat, sweeping and mopping and dusting and everything. And I thought, I'm getting hot. I'm going to sit down for a minute and rest. So I thought, well, while I'm sitting, I'll just do this voiceover and get it ready. So what I did was took my little stamp chamois and kind of cleaned off some of that white off of the white the anti-static powder to wipe it off that black panel. And I've got this heart, and now I'm going to take this and get this other one die cut out, carefully removing the tape so that I can keep my cardstock nice so I can use it for my panels. And we'll get the black hearts die cut out and be right back. So just popping out my little love pieces. I'm going to get my dies laid back down on my magnetic sheet so that we can get them put away as well. And you could use these love dies, without the stamp and just have a solid color love. So they're, it's a pretty good staple to have in your stash. So I'm glad I have it. It's not, those are no longer available, but I'm sure you have something similar. So I'm just kind of brushing these panels off because I am going to layer them on. And I'm going to get my sentiments. And I was looking at these panels to see if I had room that I could stamp the sentiments and then use a little die to die cut it out. So I'm going to strategically do that so that I'll still be able to use these panels as my layer. So we'll just choose some of the stamps, and I'm going to do them two at a time. And I've kind of at the bottom of my screen, but, you know, I'm just stamping sentiments. And we're going to white heat emboss them as well. So we will be bringing the embossing tool back in. And I've had that embossing tool from Stampin' Up! For probably, I'd say, 30 years. And it still works great. So we'll lay some powder on there. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp the black one as well. And I think I'm kind of off there. I move it up there. And I'm just going to put another, I'm going to use 3 different sentiments on these. And I think this one says Love Us, and it's just a little tiny one. And we'll get it inked up. It says I Love Us, I believe is what it says. Get some powder on this one and get them tapped off. And we'll be good to go. I've been getting into embossing lately. For a long time I wasn't doing it at all just because it's messy, but seems like I've been dragging that heat tool out a lot lately. Just trying to dust off or pick off any little scrapped pieces of embossing powder that doesn't need to be there. And we'll get that up. So last night I was at like 1,699 subscribers, and I snapped a picture of it and posted it on all my socials and said, anyone want to, to get me to 1,700? And I woke up this morning and I had blown past it. I was like at 1,711 or something like that. So that was fun. I've got a lot of friends that have some goals for their YouTube channels, for their growth goal. And certainly, I have goals to be much higher, but it's baby steps, and you just celebrate each milestone as you go. And that's what I try to do, just to, feel like I'm making progress. So I'm just using a little tiny die here and just die cutting these out. And I've left myself enough room to where I'll have the edge that I need for my panel. This is kind of a longer video, but we had, the embossing techniques and then doing the 3 cards, so it did take a minute. I did kind of speed it up a little bit just so that it wouldn't be real lengthy, but I think I was probably in the craft room about an hour on these 3 cards. So I'm just bringing in my little card bases, and I'm going to get these panels laid down, and I'm going to use the flip side because there is a little bit of embossing powder on the panel here, so I just flipped it over and used the other side. And then we're going to get this one laid down on there as well. And no one will know what's underneath these panels because I'm going to lay those embossed panels on top of these. I'll have to trim them down, but I decided not to use the black on there, and I brought in some mirrored cardstock. I actually had 2 panels there. I had to lay one aside. And my glue's acting up. I'm just going to lay some tape runner down on there, and we'll get it stuck down. I like to use tape runner with the gold metallic, or the silver metallic cardstock anyway, just because it sticks quicker. So I'm going to trim these down. I trimmed 2 of them down to 4 by 5 1/4, and then the third one I go ahead and trim it down to 3 3/4 by 5. Because I'm going to show a little bit more of that gold, or I keep saying gold, that silver metallic cardstock. I'm going to show a little bit more of it. And we'll get these laid down on there. So I'm just using my Spellbinders guillotine there to trim those down. And we're going to get them assembled. That glue press is just giving me fits. I have to use a pin in it almost every time that I do it. And I think it's the temperature change in the room, because some days it just works smoothly. And then other days, I just struggle with it. So I think that's what it is. And so I'm going to get these panels laid down on here, and then we're going to get these cards all decorated up. And we're kind of just doing like an assembly line of laying our panels, then laying our embossing panels, and just kind of got a little production line going here with it. And this is the one that I cut down to 3 3/4 by 5, and we're going to have a little bit more of a frame around there. And now we can start putting all of our little pretty pieces on here. So for this red one, I'm just going to put the red heart on there, and I'm using the sentiment that says, I love your big heart. And that's the one I'm going to use on it. So I am bringing in my die cutting machine, and I'm going to die cut some fun foam out. I decided that I wanted to pop all of these up, and so I'm just bringing in different colored fun foam that I have in my stash. It's got adhesive on one side, so I'll have to glue the other side. And I'm going to just die cut out, to match the colors of each of the cards. I have a big bin of it, and I've got all the colors in there, and I just cut what I need and just throw the scraps back in, and because you never know what size piece of fun foam you're going to need. So we'll get all these out of here. And now we're going to assemble our red one. So I'm just going to pull it off the back and then stick my paper to it, and then I'll glue up the other side of it. The letters I'll have to do the opposite because of the direction that the letters are in. So I did trim it up a little bit. I think the die cutting machine kind of squished the foam and made it a little bit bigger than what it was. So the hearts I will trim a little bit off the edge and make them nice and neat. And then for the this one sentiment, I clipped the corner of it because I didn't have a lot of room there, so I just trimmed it down so you wouldn't see that corner that was messed up on there. And then for these, I'm going to have to just glue them on. And I thought while that glue was running, I would get it on all the letters while it's running. So we'll just get our letters lined up. I'm going to have to set something heavy on these. They want to move, and I want to keep them in place and get them glued down. So I'm going to bring something in there heavy to set on there. Get them all lined up. And I'm using these acrylic blocks, but I didn't think they were heavy enough, so I'll wind up using my magnets and my ruler, I think, to smash them all down so they adhere nicely. So, okay, let's get this heart laid down on here. And I'm just going to lay it on an angle. And there I used my ruler for that, just to hold it down. That thing's got some grip to it, so that heart's not going to go anywhere. I'm going to bring in a thin foam strip and pop up my I Love Your Big Heart sentiment, and we'll just lay it down on the bottom. These really turned out pretty. I'm not sure the picture that I show in the end do them justice. I've got to get a better situation with my pictures. I had a light box that I was using for my pictures, and I really, really liked them. And my 2-year-old grandson managed to destroy it. And so I need to get another one so that I can get some better pictures. Now this one I didn't pop up. I just glued it down flat without the fun foam, and then I'll layer the To My Forever Person heart on top of it, and that will add the dimension. Get that laid on there. And I'm working with this love trying to make it fit with a portrait A2 because my hearts, didn't want to lay them on the side. I think I take a look at it and think about it, but then I'm like, no, I don't want my hearts to be on the side, so they're all going to be portrait. And I'm going to just kind of lay it like this. And with that fun foam, it's got some really good dimension on it. So I'm just going to start picking them up and laying them down. I did go ahead and add some glue to it just to make sure they adhere. And I'm doing the E just so I can get my spacing. I made the O, like about a quarter of an inch from the top. I tried to make the E kind of a quarter of an inch from the top. And then that's why I'm just kind of watching my margins there. And we'll get our V laid down on there. I think I could have moved the O over a little bit. Now here's where I'm using my magnets and just putting them on there so they don't move. And I'm going to use that ruler because it has a strong holding power, because those really need to not move and to get adhered. Now for the black one, I'm just taking my 2-in-1 tool. There's a little bit of white embossing specks, and I'm just cleaning it up with that pokey tool. And it did a really good job cleaning it up. So I'll pop that one up, and this one says, I love us. And we'll get it laid down on our card. And then for the next one, we're going to put, how did I get so lucky? And I'm cleaning it up as well with my 2-in-1 tool. So we'll bring in some foam tape, and we'll pop this one up. And I think I've got 3 great Valentine cards. So I'm real pleased with them. So there we go. That pretty much finishes them off, except for we need to embellish. So I got these black embellishments from Spellbinders. They were my little gift that I got for Christmas for my club kit membership. And I'm going to lay some down on the little flowers just to add a little bit of interest there, and then just spatter some around the card. And we'll get them laid down on there. And then for my, I'm going to look for something for the red and something for the pink. So for the red, I have these red gems from Spellbinders, and they have the teeniest, tiniest ones, and they're so cute. I love using the teeny, tiny ones. I just think they're so fun. And so I'm just going to put several of these around, kind of in our little triangle pattern there. And we'll get 2 more laid down there. And then I'm going to look for something for my dahlia. I don't have very many pinks that are the right color for this. So I'm flipping through. I've got this little photo album. It's just a tiny little photo, like a 4x6 photo album, and I've got them stuck in there. And I'm just pulling out different pinks that I have and trying to decide, do I have something I'll use? Ultimately, I will land on the Spellbinders iridescent gems, and I'll use those. Oh, the opals, I think, is what I wind up using. Oh, I think it is the iridescent gems that I use. And we'll just sprinkle some of those around. What I'm doing on this particular one is I'm just looking for flat spots on the embossing folder. In fact, I think I did that with all of them. Just find a flat spot, put it on there. So here we go. Here's our red one. I think it's really pretty. We've got our black one, and I like it much better. No one will know that there's gold embossed on the bottom. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. Take care now. Bye-bye.